Hello. Let's get started soon. Um, so let's wait for some few minutes and see if anybody can join in. This will be my first YouTube live, and we're going to be talking about something very interesting. It is 5 real life lessons to be profitable in stock market investing. Um, I just want to make sure. Just give a few seconds before. See if I can. Facebook post as well. Just give me a minute. Sure, we're not able to go live on Facebook, but let's get started. So, topic for today is I'm going to be talking about something very interesting, and I just want to know first of all, those who are going to be live now and also be watching this video later on. I want to ask one question: how many of you invest in stock market? If answer is yes, type yes on the comment box below. Thank you, and thanks for joining in live, as well as thanks for those who are going to be watching this video later on. I really appreciate taking the time out. So, what I want to share is the 5 real life lessons that has come. It took me a long way in my journey as a profitable stock market investing, and something I thought will be I like to share with the rest of you, because the everybody goes to a different cycle journey and find their um, own method of being a profitable. But I thought these lessons, which I have learned hard way in during my journey, might help you to speeden up this process. I thought it will be apt time to create this video. So without further ado, I'm going to share my screen, and hope to have some interaction from you as well in between. And if you have any questions, do type it in the comment box below. So let me share my screen. It'll be a mind map, and I'm happy to share that mind map to you guys as well. Just a minute. Let me close my buttons. See, there's a bit of a issue with my map. Give me a second. Sorry about that. In the meantime, I would like to ask you: Are you tracking your returns in stock market investing? I know the market is on tear, and unfortunately, the ground level situation is not that great. And but the stock market is kind of going different direction. Um, my thoughts and prayers to all those in India, because it's really, really tough time. And I generally don't watch news, so, but what I'm hearing is not at all very pleasing. Um, so, from the perspective of stock market investing, are you keeping track of what your profit returns are? If that's are if you are doing so, please type yes in the comment box below. And I should be sharing it in a minute. Cool, cool. All right. So if you're able to see my screen, just type yes and able to hear me well. I really highly appreciate that. Can you hear me well? Good. So, so 5 real life lessons to be profitable in stock market investing, and that's something which I kind of compiled together based on my journey, and it could be slightly different as yours, but I think people who are there are three kind of investors: those who are on sitting on sidelines and kind of observing the market and want to jump in and waiting for corrections, and the ones who are already in the market but they really have not able to discover, or they kind of investing based on the tips or information provided on the business news channel. And the third ones were experts, basically doing proper research. They understand what exactly investing is all about, whether they're for short term, long term, medium term, and they have their own approach to that. And I think this particular video is more centric to the first two categories of it, but I'm sure the ones who are already have identified their journey could also benefit. But primarily, my focus is only to talk about those who are sitting on the fence or are doing but haven't found their niche in terms of what their journey should look like. So let's get started. So I'll talk about first is about knowing your why. And I think that is something really, really important, because, and I think this context is very, very important for regardless of it, whatever you do, not only stock market investing, knowing your why is the first thing you should ask: why you're doing and why you are here at first place, and why you're investing in stock market, right? And I might have a different goals for it. You might have different goals, but you have to set your goals. You have to have end in mind and what exactly you want to achieve, whether it could be for your retirement, or whether you want to have additional income, which can generate some additional income, or you want to make your money work harder as you work hard during the day job. And that will determine what kind of risk you can take and what kind of companies you should be investing in. What's your horizon, whether it's long term, short term. So it's that why has to be defined before you start the journey. And I know it's not easy, but as you go along, you should focus on your why first. and start building your strategy along with that and link that up. And I'll talk in a minute, link them up, all of the points which will, you'll start making sense here. But I hope that's clear why I'm talking about you should know your why before you get started. If you understand that, please type in comment box, yes, it's clear. Great. So once you understand and know your why, then comes in, you need to understand who are the stock market participants. When I mean by stock market participants, because I call nothing comes easy, right? And also from the point of view, stock market, any investing for the matter, is you have a risk associated with it. Even for the matter, I work full time as a fintech consultant. That's also can be risk because company depends on the company fortune and also my performance. At the same time, whether you're investing in real estate, bond, equity, these days, Bitcoin, crypto, everything has a risk associated to that. But knowing in stock market per se, which is our main topic here, is understanding stock market participants. And I was initially, when I started my career 15 years back, I was investing. I just kind of doing random investing based on the news channels or based on somebody giving me information, but I had little understanding of why, and I'm also not able to figure out in terms of who are the main players so that you can align your ducks properly. And until when I was part of NASDAQ is a big exchange in the United States, and I was employed with them, and I started implementing market surveillance solutions, which is used by most of the top brokers and also New Delhi Stock Exchange and SEBI to identify all kind of stock market manipulations. And also started building solutions around stock market investing because that's something which I really got fascinated with it. So then I realized that there's so many participants. And when I say participants, they could be brokers, they could be they could be institutional investors who have direct access to stock market through their servers in terms of in the exchange itself, or these days social media is also one of the influencers to that because people have access to information, news channels. So there are so many participants which you need to aware of and what their role is, and that helps you to build a good understanding where you fit in that whole game of stock market investing. And then that would, let me take example here. Like for example, somebody wants to do, robotic trading these days. That's kind of, in trend. But given that resources a normal individual investor has, and given the resources these FIIs, the foreign institutional investors or big brokers or big traders they kind of have direct access to the stock market. Basically, exchange give them access to place their servers in their premise so that they have very little latency, and that could means they can place order in pretty much nanoseconds. And so I personally would not able to compete with that, so I kind of literally stopped even thinking about that I can win the game of day trading or kind of robotic trading. So I kind of focused myself as a long-term investor, and then in between I play as a medium-term investor, but I always focus on long-term investing. So that's what's very important for you to understand who are different participants, and whether in the cash market or options or futures, then you will have a better understanding of it. Again, some of the words which I'm saying does not make sense, but we will talk more in detail. But just keep in mind that there's tons of videos and information available. Just Google it and you should be able to, get a good handle of it. And where do you fit in that whole gamut that will help you to align with the right set of participants. Now, moving to the next point is mindset. I think 80-20 rule applies here, where Pareto principle says 80-20. So 80% of your effort gives you 20, the results in 20% of time. And basically, what I mean that your 80% is mindset and 20% is you work on something else, like understanding the company. And it's all about your mindset, which is more important. Um, and it is really, really crucial that you understand. And by knowing your why, understand the stock market participants, you can work on your mindset. And when I say mindset, it's kind of your behavioral side of stock market investing, because as an investor, you go through all ups and downs, and the whole journey can be really painful if you're not able to understand yourself better, where you are aligned, and that behavior will lead to action. And sometimes, like for example, what happened recently in COVID, uh, most of the most of the long-term investors became short-term investors, and they gave up their long-term holdings just because there was news was so bad, and the news channels were saying as if there's no tomorrow, and they sold all their great positions which they've been holding for last several years, and some might be in decade, and then after that, it's all history that it has given the best stock market return ever since. So having that mindset where you can't plan for such events which are black swan events, you still have to make sure that you know that risk and you are playing that game of long term. So having that right behavioral mindset, which results in actions with basically it's nothing but solutions of what you should do in case something happened like that, because that determines what kind of stocks you're holding. If stock market closes, then will they still survive or not? And then comes the results of it. Then you can able to see what the result is and whether your portfolio is performing well or not, and you track your performance, and that's all cycle is most important. So spend a lot of time on building the right mindset, but building the right mindset can only be developed when you know your why, and you should be able to understand all the participants as well. So know your why is very critical here. Moving on to the fourth point, I'm an eternal learner, so I keep learning. So I'm still student of stock market investing, and also I learn other skills. But it's very, very important that learning without action has no meaning. So you need to learn, but act as well and build your skills with actions. And you repeat that. And if you don't get the results, you try and work it till you refine it. But I think the point which I'm trying to convey in this particular fourth point specifically is there's stock market is ocean, and probably you'll not know all of it in one go or in your lifetime, but at least you're making right attempt. Some of them say, okay, let me get one book and learn something and start investing using the paper trading account. And I kind of my belief is that you need to invest your money to go through that emotion. Paper trading doesn't give you that realistic mindset which you need. So make sure you are working towards building your knowledge, because we spend 4 years in any graduation typically, and then we look for a job, and then that's where, because we build the experience. And hardly many, most of us, we want to just come and invest in stock market without doing any learning and understanding, and maybe and then just start investing. But that doesn't work like that. You have to build the right mindset, skills, and understand how it's all fit together, and then you should think of building your skills and keep learning and improving from where they are. So you have to build a strong base before you jump into stock market investing. I mean, I think that one of the, I would say, a mistake, because I did jump in early on, because but I think so. If I look at hindsight, if I want to improve, these are the points which I would improve, and that's why I'm sharing with you that I was not fully ready, and I do understand that it's hard for somebody new, but given that when I was starting my journey, there was hardly much of resources available at that time. But now that everything is available on fingertips, so it should not be that difficult to build the understanding. And there are lots of books available. I'm happy to share that with you if any any books you want to connect with me, and I can share the list of books. So once you have these four important point, then there's always a debate about trading versus investing, and that's kind of, now as you see, now I'm drilling down from all this time I just talked about the overall skill sets you need, which probably I would classify as soft skills, but now comes the core part of it, trading versus investing. And it's a big confusion, and I always was thinking, I started my journey as a value investor. We're doing a deep dive research, and there's analysis paralysis. By the time I understand the company, stock prices have run up, or I think, or for the matter, the stock is actually not moving at all, and I'm just sitting there. And one of the example has been Reliance. I've been holding for almost close to 8 years, and my patience was tested to the core, and the rest is history. That I exited, and after that, stock went double or triple after that, and still going up. But and same likewise, many other investments where I made, I was more doing fundamental research. Uh, but I think one should not get caught up with trading investing. It should be holding, buying stocks for long term should be the right approach to say. And if it turns out to be a trading bet because you have to get stopped out because things didn't work out, you exit. Okay. And if things works out well based on the different set of parameters and process, so it should be process based investing rather than just talking about trading versus investing. So once you have a checklist and a process, that would help you to determine whether you want to buy that stock, you want to add up, or you want to sell, and when you want to exit. So it should determine that, your process should determine that, rather than you're saying I'm a trader or I'm an investor per se. So eternally I'm an investor, but at the same time I have no emotional bonding to any company. I follow my process, which is a peaceful weekend investing process, and I simply take my bets based on that. And there are some examples I can give you. They're all kind of available on my Twitter feed, at the rate Bhatia Shivendra. You can go and check it out. Is like, for example, AMD, which is a processor which I picked up at around $11 before last COVID, before the COVID, and that was around Bitcoin was rallying in the first leg of rally. And I'm still holding it. It's never given me exit, and it's around $80 or so. It's sitting around there. So, and I sold some positions of it, but at around 40, 45, and then holding rest of it. Likewise, there are certain stocks, like for example, where it just got, I did all the research for the company, and it was really doing well, but stock was moving sideways and didn't do anything for such a long time. And there was so-called, we call it, there was no action. And we as a retail investor, we want to put our money to work immediately rather than just sitting and waiting for it. So I kind of transformed into that, where I blend both technicals and fundamentals and take my bets and then keep adding my positions up, but with the particular process. So the point I'm saying, that don't get caught up with trading versus investing. Focus on long term, if that's your view, and then try and maximize the returns, because all your hard work, you have to make sure you don't exit, because stock can only go down to zero, but there's no limit to go up. So you need to read, study the businesses, and make sure you buy them at the right time, where you can get maximum buck for your effort, and essentially your money can work harder than you. I hope I was able to drive the point here, and it was useful. If you were able to get some value out of this video, do type yes, I did. That will help me to understand whether this was useful or not. So just to recap, know your why is important, right? And then know your why is important. And You need to understand all the stock market participants, so that you can understand where do you fit in, and you're having a right mindset, which will result into lead into the right outcomes and the performance. You should keep learning and taking the right actions and keep repeating that process, and be eternal learner, and don't get caught up with the trading investing, and whatever your outcome is, you should decide, your process should decide your entry exit and adding up or just doing nothing. Yeah, I hope it was useful. um, I look forward for your comments, and I will uh, join back again on the live session next weekend. Till then, I, Shivendra Bhatia, Peaceful Weekend Investing Coach, signing off. Have a good weekend and good Sunday. Bye bye.